Hello and good evening. As usual, we'll give folks just a moment to join the Zoom meeting and then we will begin. I now call this meeting of the South Webby School Board to order. Our first item of business is the land acknowledgement, for which we turn to Student Representative Russo.
South Woodby School District would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather on the ancestral homelands, originally known as Shukolchi and Lishutseed, of the coastal Salish peoples on the lands of the lower Skagit, Tulalip, Swinomish, Snohomish, Stillaguamish, and Suquamish, who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin since time immemorial and have hunted, fished, gathered, and taken care of these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and we honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. Please join me in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude to the Indigenous people of this territory and for their enduring care and protection of the land in which we currently occupy and share through the Treaty of Point Elliott signed by 82 tribes in Mukilteo on January 22nd, 1855.
Thank you very much. This is a business meeting, so this is a meeting of the board in public. There will be an opportunity for public comment later in the board just before new business. As always, that will be limited to 5 minutes on our new handy dandy timer. I don't know that it counts as new anymore, but it is up there to make sure everyone knows what the time is and how much time they have left when they're making public comment. We do note that anyone who would like to make comment, we hold all comments by the board and everyone here under our policy 0002, which is our professional communication policy, which essentially, there's a great deal to it, but essentially focuses on maintaining the dignity of speaker and audience alike. We do have an executive session at the end of this meeting, which we will be shifting to for the to evaluate the performance of a public employee. That will happen after the meeting. If you are in the Zoom meeting and would like to make public comment, please start typing it up before it is time to make public comment and include your name and location and get it in there during the public comment period, and it will be read aloud. We now turn to a happy and sad occasion. This is the happy part of the sad occasion, where Representative Dobmeyer's term has come to an end at the end of this meeting, but it does mean we have an opportunity to welcome Danielle Fulton to the board as a student representative. If you could come up and join us, and we will swear you in. This is very nearly the same oath that every elected board member takes. So here we go.
Okay. Yep. Can you raise your hand? Yep. All right. And you can just repeat after me. Okay. I, Danielle Fulton, do hereby solemnly swear
I, Daniel Fulton, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of student representative
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of a student representative
of the South Whidbey School District number 206,
of the South Whidbey School District number 206,
Island County,
Island County,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so this is the one meeting of the year where we have 3 student representatives, which is always a treat. So welcome aboard. Look forward to getting to know you over the next 2 years and seeing what imprint you want to put on the district and the board as we go. Are there any objections to approving the agenda and minutes as presented? Hearing none, the agenda and minutes are approved as presented. Are there any objections to approving the consent agenda as presented? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. We will now turn to another great part of this meeting, which is recognitions. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Clifford for the first of them.
Excellent. So our students are very, very busy right now. And so I invited them, but we have, so Daniel is and Louisa, they are both representing our student leaders who have been supporting the Speak Up training. And this has been a big undertaking. And it's something that we also didn't anticipate to be this big of a rollout this year. And it was initially something that the staff said we need tools, like hands-on, very specific things that we can do right away. And so we trained staff at the very beginning of the school year, and students said we want tools too. And so in the midst of that, I just want to recognize our students because it wasn't something that was planned up front. They had a lot of agility. They had a lot of flexibility because it was an evolving process. But I am so proud, and I am so proud of our student leaders because they came together. They were patient. They hung in there as we were learning and growing through the process together. And they were a part of designing. They took what we gave them and they designed it to make it their own and make it make sense for our students in South Whidbey School District, and made it make sense and what is going to be most meaningful for the work that we do in our schools and what makes sense for our culture and climate. And then they spent 2 weeks or a week and a half, but it felt like probably 2 years to them, presenting in every class to every single student, including students that are in Running Start and go to Snow Isle that might not be in school at the same time as their other peers, and really took the lead and just shared with our students what is our expectations and what are our culture, and did it with care and compassion and with kindness. And they also recognized and helped to communicate that this is a very, very, very first start. And we got to celebrate last week and did some reflections and talked about what we're going to do next year and how we are going to clearly define our plan next year, so it will be intentionally built in instead of building as we were flying the plane this year. And so I just wanted to recognize our student leaders. We have a number of them that were not able to make it here today, but the 2 of you are representing them. And so I just wanted to specifically thank you for taking the lead in this work and for your commitment. We had 3 seniors that also were very, very much involved. And in the next part, we'll talk about a couple of seniors who are also involved in some other work. And for me, I think it's really critical. Senior year, you can do everything you can do, and you're working on leaving. And so for students to still commit to leaving a legacy, it's really incredible. So do you 2 want to say anything about the work of the Speak Up training, knowing that we have a lot more work to do?
Yeah, I think it was really great to be a part of the Speak Up training, and I think it's definitely a great first step at reducing hate speech, everything it's designed to do. And I think ultimately it is making an impact at our school and people are talking about it. So I think it's great work.
I agree. And I felt really encouraged by our team of Speak Up members and how we approached the process of making the slideshow presentation in the first place. I thought it was really professional and just supportive. Everyone kind of felt like they were being supported, at least from my point of view, in that team. And I feel like us supporting each other, like leading by example for other people. And I feel like we did a great job, even though it's just a first step. I feel like we're gonna keep doing great through these next future steps that we're going to do.
And I want to specially thank you too, both for representing your group today and for giving that the updates and sharing out. I also want to do a special shout out to Mr. Olson and Miss Stelling. And Miss Stelling did the lion's share of really supporting and working, leading our students through this work and facilitating with our students so that the students could lead the work. And Mr. Olson tag teamed with her. So without this whole entire team, teachers and staff, we would not have been and had the outcomes that we achieved so far this year without them. So I just wanted to acknowledge them.
Thank you. From the time you presented to the board through seeing it roll out to the students has been fantastic. So thank you for your leadership in that and for the folks doing the work along the way as well. Our next item is back to you, Dr.
Yep.
Clifford.
So I also wanted to add here that it was one of my first 2 or 3 board meetings when I was hired, but unofficially in the transition mode. And we had students here that were, that came and presented on climate action. And Kalku and Desiree Andrews were a part of that. And they they're seniors, and they joined our climate action committee. And I just wanted to acknowledge both of them, and then Doma Doye, who has also been on our equity committee, and just acknowledging that we have student leaders that are really, truly transforming the work of the district. And those 3 are seniors, and they're leaving. But I just wanted to acknowledge that this climate action work, there's so much more, and there's so many things that are happening that I am not directly connected to. But these were some pretty big efforts that were part of our work this year and part of my direct goals as a district. And so I just really wanted to recognize the student leadership and the work that they've done. And I'm excited to potentially in June bring a draft climate action not June, potentially in July, but definitely in August, a draft policy around climate action. So, anyways, that was we just wanted to acknowledge that and just mention the work because they came here, and that all of that work would not have happened without that presentation.
Thank you. And the final one is where it gets sad. It is acknowledging Callahan Dobmeyer's 2 years of service on this board and the guidance and advice and energy that you have provided to the board on behalf of the students in the district. There are some people who lead by standing out front and yelling, and some people who lead by standing behind everyone and making sure that they're moving forward in the right direction. And both are important. And I appreciate that you've had the confidence to take the latter tact, because sometimes when people aren't feeling confident about themselves, they charge to the front. But being that steady support and presence is a very valuable type of leadership. And I personally, and I know the rest of the board does, and I'll give them a chance to shower some praise on you as well. But I appreciate that you've brought that to this board and provided that service for the entirety of this district, not just the board, not just the students, but staff and everyone around the school in our community as well. I know that you will have great success in your next steps. I'm sad that you have to leave us, but I'm excited to see what you do going forward with the expertise that you have shown thus far.
I'll go first. Like a lot of kids in the district, I've known Callahan. I've known you since you were just a wee little bit. And so when you joined the board as a student rep, I was very excited to get to see you again and recognize you as a high school person, as somebody with, leadership abilities and all the things I knew that you had in you, even when I met you when you were small. And I saw those things. I saw determination. I saw that quiet dignity that you brought to your leadership role. I saw, deep listening that you do. You are a person where when you do speak and when you do offer verbal language, people listen because they see the value in what you do and what you represent. And I really, really appreciate getting to know you over the last couple of years. I appreciate that, you put up with all of us grown-ups and our wacky shenanigans when we're all crammed in a school suburban off to conference. And I'm just so grateful to have had this time with you to learn and grow. So thank you so much, Callahan, for your service.
+1 to what's been said already. And I'll also add that I could always trust that you have your thumb on the pulse of students and not just high schoolers. I felt like through you, I better understood what was going on at all the schools in the district. And I really appreciate the effort you put into taking the role really seriously and keeping the voting board members informed about what's really going on. And I also think it's such an amazing capstone to your service on the board that you were recognized at the state level. The Washington Association of Superintendents recognized you and Director Russo with a yearly award, and it's well deserved. One of the downsides of being a quiet leader is sometimes quiet leaders don't get recognized. So I'm really glad that folks were noticing on the state level the amazing work that you're putting in.
Amplifying what they all said, one of the things I really love about getting to know student reps is not just like your leadership in how you approach here in the public facing out, but also getting to know you as a human. And I have really enjoyed seeing not just who you are as a board member, but who you are as a dancer, who you are outside with your friends and your school activities, and even how sometimes you throw your parents under the bus with getting you to dance. But but that's really fun to get to know you as a well-rounded human. And I was really honored that you asked me to write some of your letters of recommendation for school, and seeing where you were applying and where you were dreaming and what that was looking like for you was also really exciting to see. And thank you for that honor.
I am so grateful that I got to have this 1 year with you. And you were, whether you know it or not, you made a huge impression during the interview process. And I know that you are a quiet leader. And I shared with you during the WASA award that that you have had an impact. And don't ever forget and don't ever underestimate the strength of that quiet leadership. And so I'm so grateful. I've learned so much from you. And the two of you have paved the way for some pretty incredible work and impacts that can happen as student leaders. And you have done that with so many balls that you're juggling up in the air. And no matter what's going on, you are incredibly present and incredibly just real. And you know what? I just want to echo when you speak. And there were a few times when you felt really compelled because it was important. It is heard and it lands with so much power. So thank you so much for teaching me in your last year with us. And I'm so glad that I had this opportunity. And best of luck. You're going to do amazing things. And I can't wait to see where you go and what you do. And you are a difference maker. So we're giving you some little gifts to remind you of the differences that you have made and that you're going to continue to make. We could all give Callahan a round of applause.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I think I learned a lot about the education system, but I think I also learned a lot about myself. I think coming to this position, I really didn't know who I was as a leader, and I think getting the experience of speaking for other students taught me to find my voice and to use my voice for what matters for students. And so I think this opportunity was really impactful and definitely has shaped who I am. So I appreciate it.
We now have pie, since that's one of your favorite things. And we have the pie that you like, I think, with some other pies too.
Welcome back. I'm sorry for those of you who are watching this on YouTube or from home that you were unable to join us for the delightful Woodby Island pies. They've disappeared, mostly. Thank you again to Callahan Dahlmeyer for sharing your wisdom, expertise, and voice with us for these past 2 years. We'll now move on to your last chance to share that voice here officially from the podium, Student Board Report.
This past month, Lulu and I had the opportunity to host a construction table with members from the construction team. We actually had quite a few kids come up and ask questions. There was a majority of the questions were about employment, but still kids were up and asking questions. They all had very valid questions. There was a lot of questions about the library. There's a couple questions about the siding and then about the track. And I think it was just a really good opportunity for students to see what's going on and to ask the questions that they maybe would be unsure how to ask otherwise.
So at the high school, the track team headed off to state today, and 23 athletes are competing this season. Yep. We also had a wellness day, so the first 2 periods of the day were dedicated to trying different ways of stress management. And it was a great I don't know, I think students really liked it, and they actually really did participate too. I think they really got into it, and they did find some new ways to, help their mental health a little bit. There was also a choir concert as well as a band concert at Wicca. And there was also a band field trip to Leavenworth, so that was pretty cool. We got to play in a gazebo area and then walk around, so that was pretty fun.
Prom was also this past month. It was at the fairgrounds, and students really enjoyed it. I think there was a lot of positive feedback about it. There's also this past week, there was an AP Lit field trip to listen to author Tommy Orange speak, which it was just, I got to go on that, and it was an amazing trip. And I've read Tommy Orange's books, and so just getting to hear him talk and reference what he's written was really, really cool. And so, yes, let's keep doing that. The school year is wrapping up. The senior parade is on June 3rd, and then the senior assembly is on June 4th. And then graduation is on June 6th. For the middle school, the end of the year band concert was on May 12th. And I actually went, and they were fantastic. It was amazing to see. And then this Friday is PE Olympics with a closing ceremony and awards. Track meet finals are June 1st and 4th. And then the 8th grade field trip to UW in Seattle is on June 8th. The 8th grade promotion dance is on June 9th. And then June 10th is the 8th grade promotion.
And there have been lots of field trips going on at the elementary school. The 4th and 5th grades had overnight trips to Camp Casey, and the 3rd grade is visiting Deception Pass tomorrow. Classes have also been visiting the outdoor classroom, and they're learning about birds, the ecosystem, and it is led by Whidbey Watershed Stewards. Tomorrow night is the 2nd annual STEAM night, where families and students can explore, create, and investigate as they kind of experience and visit fun activities across the campus.
Thank you. That Dr. Clifford mentioned y'all were busy, but wow, I forgot quite how busy things get at the end of the year. Part of that STEAM night will be solar cars driven by put forward by the fourth graders. They've been working on them for several weeks now. Very excited about seeing them run. Yeah, any questions or comments? Thank you very much. We'll now move on to public comments. If anyone has signed up in person, okay, I'll give it just a minute. If anyone who is watching on Zoom would like to type in their comment, since no one has yet, if you would like to comment, please just use the Q&A function and type in your name and location so we know whether or not to wait for you. I'll give you about a minute to do that, and then you can start typing the actual question if you have one. There is nothing so long as a minute of dead air when you have a microphone in front of you. We didn't quite make it, but didn't have any commentary in there. So we will move on from public comments to new business. We have 5 items on our agenda here. The first one is Memorandum 2526-31, approval of the update to South Whitby School District Policy 3124, removal release of students during school hours. This is one that we discussed at our last workshop. If you want to add anything on what
all of the 3 policies that are up for updates today, we discussed at the workshop, and they're all updated based on the updated WASDA policies, model policies, and then aligned to our practices with how we update our policies. So this is just shifting some words and then adding a couple of other pieces into here. Yep.
Is there any comments or discussion or debate to be had on this item?
I have one minor thing. In the final paragraph, the word guardian is crossed out and highlighted. Does that indicate it's staying?
I believe it indicates that it was removed, but the highlighting means it was put back in.
Okay, thank you.
And that should certainly be the purpose if it, yeah. Okay, hearing no further questions or debate, I will turn to our student representatives for your advisory votes, please. And we have 3 this time.
Aye.
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 Thank you. All those in favor of approving Memorandum 2526-31, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The memorandum has passed.
Point of order. Daniel, it's also okay to abstain if you feel like you don't have enough information to make a yes or no vote.
Memorandum 2526-32, approval of the update to South Whitby School District Policy 3207, prohibition of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Again, this is one that we discussed at the last meeting.
Updates in alignment to the updated WASDA model policy.
Moving around the order of some things. Yeah. Any debate or discussion on this item? Hearing none, I will turn to our student representatives for your advisory votes, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. All those in favor of approving Memorandum 2526-32, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The memorandum has passed. Memorandum 2526-33, approval of the update to South Whitby School District Policy 3241, student discipline. I'm going to turn this one over to Dr. Clifford because there's a little bit more to this one.
So we did have a conversation about this. Again, this was based on the most recent updated policies, model policy, and the laws from last year. And when we reviewed this at the workshop, how we update the WASDA model policy it removed a number of things that were tailored specifically to our district, and what you all did 2 years ago. And so we did review this. I got to review this with Director Greenherron, and we maintained the language in the first paragraph, and we also maintained the language around the confidentiality around data size when we break out data. And so those were the things that we did preserve. And the remainder of the items that had been built in before were silent, and then updated was the model policy. And we believe that if they were necessary to be outlined, they could be outlined in the procedure.
Any debate or discussion on this item? I'd like to thank Director Greenherron for getting together with Dr. Clifford to go over those changes. Okay, hearing no debate or discussion, I will turn it over to our student representatives for your advisory votes, please.
Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Memorandum 2526-33, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The memorandum has passed. Memorandum 2526-34, approval and ratification of Resolution 705 waiver application. It's my understanding that there was some bureaucracy that happened that required us to look at this again. This is in part reapproving this, and in part ratifying my decision as board chair to go ahead with this.
Yes, they unofficially approved the waiver, but require a voted resolution.
So there's no substantive difference from last time, which is why I felt comfortable making that call as board chair. As part of the board chair's role and rights and responsibility is to, if there is a time-sensitive matter, make an approval, make a decision that can then be ratified by the board at the next possible meeting. Any debate, discussion, or questions on this? So I will turn to our student representatives for your advisory vote.
Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Memorandum 2526-34, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The memorandum has passed. Our final item of new business for tonight, Memorandum 2526-35, approval of the purchase of one Bluebird Type D84 rear engine diesel passenger school bus. I'll hand this over to you.
I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Field.
It's just rotating through the fleet. We have buses rolling off depreciation. We haven't bought a new rear engine pusher bus in a couple of years. We've bought 2 electric buses and one other small bus recently. So it's just updating the fleet. We're not quite ready to continue to electrify the fleet until we get more information about what it's going to take to get power into the bus barn area.
Thank you very much. Any debate or discussion on this item? My recollection is that continued refreshing of the fleet is very important for future depreciation to make sure we continue receiving funds from the state to continue upgrading our buses in the future.
That is absolutely right. And now that they extended the depreciation schedule, it's even more vital when buses fall off depreciation, if we can afford to do so, to buy a bus to keep those funds coming, to keep the fleet updated. The last bus that we purchased, we're actually reevaluating it as it came in. The size wasn't exactly, I don't want to say as expected, but as we started using it, it was determined that we need to get something different to meet our needs. So there will likely be in the near future a second request to trade in the last purchase bus for something more adequate to be able to meet our needs. So there'll be another, hopefully 2 purchases approved this year.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the heads up for the future. Any debate or discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll turn it over to our student representatives for your advisory vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Memorandum 2526-35, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The memorandum has been approved. That concludes our new business for the evening. We will move on to reports. And financial enrollment report comes first. I will pass it back to Mr. Field.
Okay, normal report. I'm sorry, I apologize. The date's off by 3 days, but enrollment report for May. All of our students have stuck with us. Nothing of surprise there. So that's holding steady as expected. Next slide. This is just our graph. The orange dot, you can see it's kind of flattening out and just sticking with what we've seen all year long. So it's a good trend as we head into the final stretch and the final count for June coming up here in a few days. This is just enrollment by month. Again, the orange bars, the current year, and you can see we're above the prior years every single month. This is the grade distribution. Nothing to notice changed from prior months. And then compared to budget. So we're over in every grade band compared to budget with the exception of 11th grade, 10th and 11th grade. Financial report. So we're 2/3 of the way from the year, ahead on revenue. That's based on the uptick in enrollment and as expected. And we're right in line with expenditures year to date for 60%, 66% of expenditures, 67% of the year. At this time last year, I had concerns about a budget extension. There's much less concern this year. Last year at this time, we were at 99.8% of budget with encumbrances. This year, we're at 97.1%. So we have quite a bit more breathing room than we've had in prior years. I'm not going to say we won't need a budget extension, but I don't have nearly the concern as I did last year at this time. Revenue and expenditure by month compared to last year, very consistent. The revenue line's practically laying on top of the other one. The uptick in April is due to our levy collections that we receive in April and October. So that's why we have the big spike in revenue in April. And this is just straight revenue, and our revenue stream is consistent year over year. The lines are stacked right on top of each other because our enrollment changes so little from one year to the next. Revenue by source, state revenue continues to go up. Our local revenue, largely driven by rental income, and mainly this year is our interest rates are so much better than compared to last year. So that local taxes and state revenue, or excuse me, the local non-support, the second from the left, that increase is largely due to our interest rate. Continue declining federal revenue because of ESSER dollars disappearing. So very consistent with what it's been all year long. Expenditures, a little less consistent. It's always timing. So when you put salaries and MSOCs together, it can just fluctuate depending on what cost come when. So we'll jump to the next one here. MSOCs is the graph that jumps all over the place. It's timing of what month did we pay insurance? Did we have some other expenditure that comes up? So it's a little more inconsistent compared to the next slide, payroll, which pretty much follows. It's higher because of increases paid over the year and more teachers compared to last year because we staffed up for the increase in enrollment. But again, nothing surprising compared to prior months. This just shows where we spend our money in staffing and benefits, and a little less in services, supplies, and capital outlay. Fund balance percentage, again, jumps up in April because of the collections in April for the April levy. It's still sitting at 24%, a very comfortable position to be in, but for a small district, it's necessary to carry that level of a fund balance. This is the statutory budget status report. So when we look down here, that balance of $713,000 this time last year, including encumbrances, is at $180,000. That's why I feel a little more comfortable that we're not going to need to go through the budget extension exercise, but I will continue to watch it very closely. It's always better to get that extension and then instead of writing the forgive me letter to OSPI if we go over. And here's our other funds. So the transportation vehicle fund, that $176,000 is that bus we took delivery last month, and then I've been in communication with the vendor to trade that in straight across, basically to get a bus that's just a little bit bigger to accommodate 3 wheelchairs and more students. I think it'll just serve the district better if we make that swap. So we're working towards that in the transportation department. Made our debt service payment. We have another one going out here this month to service our bonds. So that's the debt service activity. And then we continue to spend the capital projects funds. We should really start seeing that start going out the door as we get July and August pay applications, as we're really the construction team's chomping at the bits for June 16th to take over both sites and really get in here and start doing stuff. So with that, are there any questions?
Not a question, just appreciation for the way that you have managed the collective you here have managed the funds with such an increase in student enrollment while still remaining within the budget. That's very impressive. And don't worry, this will become more clear as we go along, and we'll take the opportunity to sit down and talk about exactly what some of this means. It is, you are drinking from the fire hose of information now. We will make it as easy as possible. It will take some time to get up to speed on, and that's totally okay. Okay, hearing no questions, we'll turn to the superintendent's report.
Okay, so every year we we review our data and check for our withdrawals prior to graduation. We always have a handful of withdrawals prior to graduation, and we still have that this year. One of the things that I can tell you is that the intent of this is to verify and monitor to make sure that we don't have students that are failing or dropping out. And the students that we have had withdrawal prior to graduation don't fall within that category. So that is the update.
Thank you very much. We'll move into our board comments and reports, if there are any.
Just a little bit of an update. I got to go on the part of the Camp Casey fifth graders trip. Got to do some theater, put on my civilian hat, and do some theater with about 80 fifth graders. And it was chaotic and wonderful. And it just was so fun to be part of outdoor education again. That's kind of where I started in the district with Susie Richards when I moved here 20 years ago. And so it was so great to be able to witness her being with kids outside, doing outdoor education and just having amazing adventures together. So I'm just really grateful for that opportunity and to get to, look at that with all my hats on. So that was really fantastic.
And I was able to go on the fourth grade trip up to Camp Casey, had very similar observations, and would also like to thank, I believe it is the South Woodbury Schools Foundation, who were able to pick up some slack on funding for that so that both grades could continue their outdoor resources, even if the fifth grade could not make it to Camp Kirby. Definitely a good time had by all. Thank you to the guardians who went along and dealt with dozens of fourth graders and fifth graders in an overnight setting. It was a little wild, but fun. Yeah, and thank you to all the staff who took time out of their day, particularly those who did not teach that grade, but still came up to provide proper numbers and spread of staff.
And I can say with positivity that our future is safe with these children. They're amazing beings.
I just wanted to say that I was able to attend the School Foundation Gala this year, and it was quite fun. The dessert dash was also very memorable with the Kentucky Derby theme, but just appreciating our community's support of the Schools Foundation and how it supports our schools and our ability to think outside of the box and to fund things that sometimes grant restricted money and government restricted money doesn't let us always do. And so it was a great event. Highly encourage people to go. And yeah.
Dr. Clifford and I went on a joint tour of the elementary school since our last meeting, and I wanted a special focus on math and seeing how the district-wide focus on math professional development was playing out in the classroom, and I was very impressed at the energy and the creativity and the alignment of all the staff and in the ways they teach math in an age-appropriate way throughout the different grades of elementary school, and just the various modes of instruction, whether it's computer or pen and paper, indoors, outdoors, group, individual, quiet, loud, student-led, teacher-led. I just saw so many different ways to teach so many different types of students. So it was a really positive visit.
In keeping with Mr. Field's note that the bond folks are champing at the bit to take over some of these spaces so that they can continue their work, our summer board meetings will not be in this room because this building will not have power. So going forward, our June 17th, June 24th, and July 8th meeting will be at the Langley Library in their new public meeting room. Our August 12th retreat will be at the community center, and then the workshop will be at the Langley Library, and our August 26th business meeting will also be at the Langley Library. And as we've been trying to do this will be posted well ahead of time and sent out in accordance with state law and rules. We do have no second meeting in July. So there's no meeting July 22nd. We're trying to get a little bit of time so that the administrators can actually take a breath and step away from things. So with that, next month will include goal setting for the district and the start of the budget process, which will complete at the July 8th meeting. Okay. That being said, we will suspend this business meeting and the board will go into executive session to discuss the performance of a public employee. It will last no longer than 45 minutes, ending at, that would be 8:15 or earlier. Okay, thank you. This meeting is now suspended. It will be adjourned at the end of the executive session. Thank you and good